Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of the Gaming Tailgate podcast. I am Chris, and joining me, Tommy and Jeremy. We're here to bring you a lot of news, a lot of good news you're going to be looking forward to. First off, the NCAA Football 12 demo will be available Tuesday, June 28th. It'll be here before we know it. It's going to feature two matchups, Oregon at Texas and Alabama at Florida State. Once you get the demo, go in the mode and share it with a friend. Basically, you pull up anyone on your friends list. It'll send them a message telling them about the NCAA Football 12 demo. Once you do that, it's going to unlock 5 Pro Combat uniforms that you'll be able to use in the retail version of the game. There's 5 more Pro Combats you can get if you pre-order from EB Games or GameStop. And the West Virginia Pro Combat will be unlocked from the get-go. You don't have to do anything for those special Mountaineer uniforms. Tonight we're going to talk about a big addition to Road to Glory. It's not just an addition, pretty much revamped thanks to designer Alex Howell, a former walk-on running back at Auburn. Coming to Road to Glory is the high school experience, as EA calls it. You get to play your entire senior season of high school. You can customize the 7 to 10 game regular season length and playoffs. Jeremy, talk a little bit more about the details and also how unique an experience this is for people.
Adding in the entire senior season is a very nice touch into Road to Glory this year. It just adds a lot more depth because you get to play your entire season all the way out. You can add in your rival schools from your real life Road to Glory. You know, when you were in high school, you can add those in through Team Builder and play all your rivals. You can also, edit the difficulty of each of the teams, so you can really match it up the way you really want to do it. And as you go along, when you first start your Road to Glory, you get to pick 3 schools that are your 3 goals that you'd love to play for that school, and you want them to know that they need to take notice of you. And then as you go along, as you progress through your senior season, you're able to get a bunch of schools that will take notice based on your play. At first, it'll start out where you're just going to get schools from around your area that take notice. But as you start to really climb that ladder and pad those stats on your senior season, a lot of other schools will start to take notice and put you on their list. And then eventually, if you hit 100% on their scholarship goal bar, then there you go. There's the scholarship offer that is sent your way.
Along with that, you get to play Ironman football in high school. It goes along with what Jeremy was talking about. So you can be a running back and a safety, any 2 positions that you want on each side. You can be a running back and a defensive lineman, or the quarterback and a safety, whatever you want from the available positions. With that, you're going to get recruited by different schools on each side of the ball. So then when your senior season is complete and you finally get your offers, you have to choose, am I going to go to college and be a quarterback or a defensive back, offense or defense? And let's talk about the skill upgrades. These are things you can buy in the store. And Jim, I'll let you talk about this. I know you looked at this a lot. But real quickly, it's upgrades you can give to your player. They last anywhere from 1 week through your entire career. And they are for specific positions. And there's also different levels of rarity. Jeremy, talk about the skill upgrades.
One of the main things when Alex said he's adding RPG elements into Road to Glory, the biggest kind of element, there's 2 real big elements. The first one is this skill upgrade section. He took a lot of this from the game Borderlands, where there are certain boosts that you can get for your player. Now those boosts are going to have different variations of rarity. Some are going to be, you're going to see this happen, pop up for the chance to buy all the time. You're going to always see it, and it's going to be probably a low-rated boost. It's not going to cost you that many experience points. You also have the ones that are very rare. Some of these are. He has a tiered system of naming how rare these are, and once you see that, and it'll be a different color. And those are going to be the boosts that overall are going to really help your character. Probably going to be the as Chris said, there's 2 different types of boosts. There's a 1-week boost and then a career boost. Those rare ones are going to be a career boost that are going to cost you a lot of XP, and you may not always get a chance to be able to purchase it. And then also an aside to that, there's also sometimes where some of these boosts go on sale. Basically, you're going to get an XP discount to be able to buy a certain item every once in a while. That'll pop up for you as well.
And while these are in a store, they don't rely on real-world cash. They rely on XP that you earn throughout Road to Glory. So you don't have to spend any money. Don't worry about it. It's not DLC. This is XP that you earn throughout Road to Glory. Along with these boosts, Alex went through and was very creative in how he named and described these. He could have went really vanilla and called it Running Back Pack 1, Running Back Pack 2. Instead, they have different names, funny descriptions, some are inside jokes that I recommend when people go to Road to Glory, look at all the names and descriptions. You'll probably get a good laugh. And there's also references to other video games and pop culture references that I think really will amuse people who really get into this mode. And with that, practices have been streamlined. I think people who played Road to Glory in the past are really going to love this. Jeremy, I'll let you break the good news about practices.
With Road to Glory, the practice mode has been made a lot of fun for me. You get to earn two different things into practice. You get to earn XP and the coach trust. Now, your XP is going to be, based on how you did in a certain play. There's all sorts of little things, and not just positives, but also negatives. So if you happen to be assigned in a zone defense and you decide to blitz instead, and the wide receiver comes over the middle, catches it for a first down, you're going to get negative coach trust for blowing your assignment. And on top of that, it's going to make it that much tougher for you to get to that position battle. Now you're going to have 25 different reps to do throughout the practice, and then once your coach trust bar is completely full, as long as you keep it there at full, because you can still lose points, as long as you keep it full, then you're going to definitely get yourself a position battle the very next week.
And so what is a position battle exactly, and what does it do?
Well, a position battle, if you like I said, if you get enough coach trust to earn that position battle, now this could be, if you're third string, you're going to battle the second string, or if you're second string, battle the first string. Basically, what you do that very next week when you're in the position battle, you're in practice, and it's just like a normal practice where you get 25 reps, but you got to hit a certain XP goal in order to win that position battle. And if you hit that XP goal, you can't go down on XP. So once you hit that, you've got it set, and you're going to move up on the depth chart. Now, if you don't hit the XP goal, it's not a huge devastating loss, because you can turn around in the very next week and do another position battle.
Let's talk about these coach trust levels a little bit. It's kind of tough to understand without seeing it in front of you, so we'll try to make it as simple as possible. But you want to earn coach trust, and you can move up different levels: starter, captain, field general, all these different names. You'll understand more when you get the game. Jeremy, explain coach trust levels, how they work, how you progress.
Well, basically, right as you walk onto your college, or of course if you've earned your scholarship to get into the college, you're going to be, based on your star rating, you're going to be given an overall, specific overall rating. Now, the coach trust points that are needed to get to that position battle are going to be based on the difference between your overall and the guy that's next to you on the depth charts overall. So basically, you're going to have a base amount of coach trust points that you need to earn the position battle, and then for every overall rating that you're behind the starter or the second string if you're a third string, for every amount of overall that you're behind, it's going to be a multiplier. So you got your base points for what you need to earn that position battle, and then if you're, say, the starter is 90 overall and you're at an 85 overall, that base amount of points is going to be multiplied by 5, and that gives you the amount of coach trust that you need to earn the position battle. Now you can, if you're going through some practices and you're like, wow, this is a lot of coach trust points that I need to get to that position battle. This is going to take a long time. I want to get to the starter as soon as I can. Well, that's where your XP comes into effect. You can take your XP that you've earned, go back into the skill upgrade store, and if you boost up your overall, that's going to lower the multiplier on your base points. So then you're going to have less coach trust needed to get to that position battle. So that's a nice little dynamic formula that Alex had put together when he calculated the coach trust points.
And finally, to wrap it up with coach trust levels, as you move up different levels, there's different perks. And finally, when you get to the higher levels, and I believe it's in the captain levels, you get to override your coach in a way, maybe decline a play, do a different play, but you don't get the full playbook realm, and you don't get correct me if I'm wrong here, you can maybe audible when you get to the higher levels, but it's not a guaranteed right as it is in the current version of Road to Glory. Is that correct, Jeremy?
You will actually unlock a set amount of audibles that you can do as you progress. Like, I think, for example, one of the higher tiers is you'll be able to do 12 audibles in a game and maybe 20 or 24 later on.
Road to Glory also received some presentation upgrades to really focus on your player. As they come out of the tunnel, the camera kind of focuses on your player, so you see him and kind of feel what it's like to come out with the team, whether it be in high school or in college. I get the impression from Alex meeting him this year at the community events that this isn't going to be a flash in the pan thing, that they want to expand it and they really want to do some big things with it. And I think that'll help too, where when they improved this mode 2 years ago, well, last year they didn't do anything to it. So I think that turned some people off. Even those who didn't care for it in the first place, they thought, well, what was the big deal last year when you built on it and did all this work, and then this year you didn't touch it? So hopefully if they can keep working on it, keep expanding it, and listen to what the community wants and add in those kind of things, I think it'll get to the point where it takes off because, as you guys had mentioned, the other games are so popular, but obviously they were at some point in their career where those modes didn't exist. So once it gets fleshed out, I think it'll take off. This week we also learned more about Game Track. This is a presentation aspect that you'll see in your Play Now games and in your Dynasty and Online Dynasty games. Except for maybe when you play Human, I don't think they'll show up. This will kick in, guaranteed, it'll kick in after the opening kickoff to start the third quarter. But it will also appear at other points during the game should the need arise or should the situation warrant it. What this is it can do a lot of things. It can talk about great performances from an individual. It can talk about a team performance. It can talk about the coaches, what they're thinking. It really goes into a lot of different things. It can be a conversation with Brad and Kirk, or it could be they toss it to Erin and she talks about something the coach told her as he came in or out of the locker room at halftime. Tommy, you've seen this Game Track. What do you think of it?
It's quite a nice addition, especially for people that have been asking for changes to presentation and specifically commentary. Basically, this adds a new level of still restricted to what's going on in the game, but it adds a new level of focusing on what exactly is going on in the game. So, it really does a good job of highlighting those guys that are having a stellar day. Instead of just finally at the end of the game, you see, oh, wow, that guy did have a lot of catches. Now, in the middle of the game, you may see, oh, wow, he now has 10 catches or however many it is, and then it shows you a montage of some of his highlights. Like I said, it really is a nice addition for presentation and to kind of bump the commentary up just another level.
And with that, it not only can highlight great performances, but it can also highlight really poor performances. And it can also be, as the developers have described it, it can be very generic or straight up in terms of talking about maybe a team is having good or players having a good day, or it can be as specific as a freshman playing on the road in the rain talking about his performance. It's a great start. It's one of those things where when you take a look back at the previous next-gen versions of NCAA football, they really had little to no presentation aspects. And now the last 2 years, they've added a lot between entrances and ESPN integration, Game Track, adding Aaron Andrews on the sideline. The game's taken some pretty big strides. And obviously, a ways to go incorporating dynasty information into the games instead of just the game at hand, but it still has come a long ways. We've hit the end of the show, and like always, we've got to find out how close we are. Tommy, as of June 25th, 2011, how many days away are we from the release of NCAA Football 12?
We're getting ever so close. We are just over 2 weeks, so we're at 17 days remaining. Demo is going to come out in just a few days, so it definitely is going to give us something to do to pass the time. But still yet, even after we get that in our hands, it's still going to be a couple more weeks before we can actually have the full retail version in our hands. So in that 2 weeks we have left, though, be sure to continue checking thegamingtailgate.com. We'll have original content and also, as always, keep you up to date with all of the latest information.
For Jeremy and Tommy, this is Chris. Everyone, thank you for listening to this edition of the Gaming Tailgate podcast. Check us out at thegamingtailgate.com.